February 9, 2004. Haverhill, New Hampshire. 7:27 p.m., a black Saturn sedan crashes on a dark, icy road, the airbags deploy. The engine hisses, inside. No driver. No footprints in the snow, just a rag stuffed into the tailpipe. And a girl named Maura Murray vanished forever. Earlier that day, Maura emptied her bank account, lied to her professors, and drove 4 hours into the mountains alone. No one knows why. She left behind a wrecked car, a packed bag, and 1,000 unanswered questions. Was she running from someone? From something? Or was this her plan all along? And if so, why hasn't she ever come back? This is a real story. And every twist is true. Subscribe now to Unbelievable True Story. And watch to the end, because what happened to Maura might be darker than anyone imagined. February 5, 2004. Amherst, Massachusetts. Snow gently fell over the quiet campus of the University of Massachusetts. The streets were peaceful. Dorm lights flickered in the cold air. Inside Kennedy Hall, a 21-year-old nursing student named Maura Murray was at her computer. She was quiet, focused, and hiding something. Maura had once been a star, a top student, a track athlete. She had even started her college life at West Point, the U.S. military academy. She was strong, smart, and full of promise, but something was changing. Just days earlier, she broke down in tears while working at her campus job. Her boss said she stared blankly at the screen, not moving. When asked what was wrong, all she could say was, "My sister." No one knew what she meant. That same night, she got a strange phone call. Her supervisor said it hit her like a train. She just lost it, the report said. Like someone had died. No one ever found out who was on the other end of that call. On the outside, Maura seemed okay. But small cracks had started to show. A few months earlier, she had gotten in trouble for using stolen credit card numbers to order pizza. Just a few dollars, not a major crime. But still, a warning sign. There were whispers about a troubled relationship. Her boyfriend, Billy Roche, was in the military and stationed far away. They had been together for years. But now, things were uncertain. At the same time, Maura's father, Fred Murray, had visited her in Amherst. He loved his daughter deeply. They spent the weekend car shopping, talking about her future. On Saturday night, Fred let Maura borrow his brand new Toyota Corolla to go to a party. She never made it back safely. That night, at around 3:30 a.m., Maura crashed the car. The damage was bad. Over $10,000. But she wasn't hurt. She just seemed quiet. Fred said she apologized again and again. But what she didn't say was why she crashed. The email that made no sense. Then came Monday, February 9th. Maura was back in her dorm room. Her computer lit up. She typed a few short emails. One went to her professors. She told them there had been a death in the family, and she would be away for a few days, but there was no death. No funeral. She also called a condo rental in Bartlett, New Hampshire, a small, quiet mountain town over 100 miles away. She'd stayed there once before, with Billy. What was she planning? She didn't tell her friends. She didn't tell her dad. Not even her sister. She just packed a few clothes, some textbooks, her birth control pills, and some snacks. At around 3:30 p.m., she got in her black Saturn sedan, withdrew $280 from an ATM, and bought a few bottles of alcohol at a nearby store. Then she hit the road, alone, into the unknown. It was getting dark. Snow fell across New Hampshire's back roads. Maura didn't tell anyone where she was going. She left no note. No goodbye. Her cell phone records show she didn't make any calls, except to check her voicemail. She passed through small towns, past gas stations, quiet houses, and snow-covered woods. Then, just before 7:30 p.m., it happened. A call came into 911 from a local man, a school bus driver. He said a car had crashed off the road near Woodsville, in the small town of Haverhill, New Hampshire. The car had hit a tree. It was stuck in the snow. He spoke to the driver, a young woman, who looked shaken but not injured. He offered to call the police. She begged him not to. "I've already called AAA, she said, but that wasn't true. There was no cell signal in the area. No call ever went out. The last sighting, the man went home and called police anyway." A few minutes later, another neighbor noticed flashing hazard lights outside and saw a woman near the car. By the time police arrived, at exactly 7:46 p.m., Maura was gone. The driver's door was locked. The car was damaged but drivable. The windshield cracked, the airbags deployed. Inside the car, police found a box of wine, a soda bottle with red liquid, possibly wine, a few printed directions to Burlington, Vermont, and something strange, a rag stuffed into the tailpipe. Maura's wallet, phone, and keys were missing. There were no footprints in the snow leading away from the car, no blood, no sign of a struggle, just silence. Vanished in minutes. It had been just 19 minutes between the crash and the time police arrived. In that short window, Maura Murray had disappeared. Where could she have gone? Was she picked up by someone? Did she run into the woods? Was she trying to escape? Or was someone chasing her? The woods were cold and dark. Temperatures were dropping fast. And there were no houses for miles. Why would she leave her car, her phone, her wallet? And just vanish? Unanswered questions. Fred Murray got the call the next morning. He was shocked. Confused. Heartbroken. He drove straight to Haverhill, calling police, searching the snowy roads, and begging for help. He believed, from the very first moment, that his daughter had been taken. But police weren't so sure. There was no sign of a crime. No clear reason to suspect foul play. To them, it looked like a young woman who had maybe run away. On purpose, but nothing added up. Why lie to her professors? Why drive all the way into the mountains? Why leave everything behind? Why disappear just minutes before help arrived? And so it begins. What happened to Maura Murray on that cold night in February? Was she scared? Was she hurt? Or did she simply choose to vanish? One thing is certain, no one has ever seen her again. February 9, 2004. 4:30 p.m., Maura Murray was heading north. Her black Saturn sedan hummed along the highway, tires cutting through the slush and snow. The sky above was turning gray. Cold wind whipped across New Hampshire's white mountains. She had a full tank of gas. Her car was loaded with alcohol. Her phone silent in the passenger seat. No one knew where she was going, not her roommates, not her father, not even her boyfriend, Billy, her car. Her plan. Her secret. That morning, Maura had made quiet moves. She withdrew nearly every dollar from her bank account, $280. She emailed her professors and told them there had been a death in the family. That was a lie. She packed a bag. Took her school books. Grabbed birth control pills, snacks, and some clothes. No winter boots. No heavy hiking gear. Then she bought a few bottles of alcohol, including Bailey's Irish Cream, Kahlua, and Franzia wine. There was no suicide note. No message, just silence. And a road leading north. Maura drove alone for over 100 miles, leaving Massachusetts behind. Her destination, nobody knows for sure. She had MapQuest directions in the car, printed out, that pointed toward Burlington, Vermont. But she also made a call earlier to a rental cabin in Bartlett, New Hampshire, a place she and Billy had stayed once before. Two different paths. Two possible goals. Was she planning to clear her head, escape something, or disappear for good? Around 7 p.m., a school bus driver named Butch Atwood was heading home through a narrow stretch of Route 112, just outside Haverhill, New Hampshire. Then he saw it, a car, off the road, nose into a snowbank. Its hazard lights flashing. He slowed down. Got out. Walked over. A young woman was behind the wheel. She looked cold, but not hurt. He asked if she needed help. She said no. I've already called AAA, she told him, but Butch knew better. There was no cell service here. He drove home and called the police himself. It was 7:27 p.m. Minutes later, another neighbor saw the crash too. She spotted a woman outside the car, walking around it. Then, the headlights went dark, everything was still. When police officer Cecil Smith arrived at 7:46 p.m., just 19 minutes after the 911 call, he found something chilling. The car was still there, but Maura, gone. Officer Smith found the black Saturn locked. The windshield cracked. The airbags deployed. Inside the car, her school books, a box of wine, some of it spilled, a bottle of soda with red liquid, and a printed email to her boyfriend, Billy. The driver's seatbelt had wine stains. The scent of alcohol was strong, outside, in the tailpipe. A white rag had been stuffed in. Was she trying to stop the car from starting? Was this sabotage? Police didn't know what to make of it. No footprints. No screams. Nothing. Police looked around. There was snow everywhere, thick and clean, but there were no footprints leading away from the crash. No signs of anyone walking into the woods, no blood. No struggle. No sounds heard, just nothing. A young woman had vanished in the space of 19 minutes. Was it a ride? Or a trap? The theory began forming fast. Had someone picked Maura up? It was cold, about 28 degrees. The snow was falling harder. She wasn't wearing snow boots. She had no gloves. She hadn't brought much cash. Would she really leave her car in that cold and go walking into the night, or did she get into a stranger's vehicle? The next morning, Maura's father Fred heard the news. His heart sank. He drove hours north, searching snow-covered roads and gas stations. He talked to police, locals, even strangers at diners. He handed out flyers. Begged for help. He refused to believe Maura had just run away. She wouldn't do that, he said. She wouldn't leave her life. Not like this. But there was no sign of her, not in the woods. Not in the towns. Not in any hospital. She had vanished, completely, as police examined the Saturn. They found more clues. In the trunk, a black backpack, toiletries, some makeup, school books, and a stuffed animal, but her cell phone, wallet, and keys were gone. The strangest thing. There was no snow tracked into the car. It looked like she had left quickly and carefully, as if she was planning something, or was suddenly forced to move. Here's what we know. 3:30 p.m., Maura leaves UMass Amherst. 7 p.m., she crashes her car in Haverhill. 7:27 p.m., Butch Atwood calls 911. 7:46 p.m., police arrive. Car is abandoned. Maura is gone, just 19 minutes, one of the most mysterious timelines in true crime history. That night, the roads were cold. Silent. Empty. Police searched with dogs. Helicopters flew overhead. Volunteers came with flashlights, but there was no trace of Maura Murray, no scent trail. No phone signal. No activity on her bank accounts or credit cards. It was like she had stepped off the edge of the earth. The case had just begun. But already, it was slipping into darkness. What was Maura running from? Who, or what, did she meet that night? And why did everything go silent the moment she disappeared? February 10, 2004. Haverhill, New Hampshire. The sun rose over a quiet, frozen forest. Snow covered the ground like a white blanket. The wind made soft whooshing sounds through the trees. Maura Murray had been missing for more than 12 hours. No one knew where she was. No one knew why she left, and no one could explain how she disappeared without a trace. By the next morning, police, dogs, and local volunteers were on the ground. They walked through the woods near the crash site. They searched barns, sheds, and frozen ponds. Helicopters flew over the White Mountains. Police dogs followed her scent for a short distance, about 100 yards down the road. Then it just stopped. No trail. No blood. No footprints, as if Maura had been picked up in a car. Or vanished into the air. There were no new phone calls from Maura's number. No one had used her credit card or bank card since that night. She hadn't checked into a hotel. She hadn't contacted her boyfriend, her dad, or her sister. Every lead ended in silence. Her black Saturn was parked in the police lot. Her belongings still inside, but Maura herself Was gone. One detail kept bothering people. At the back of Maura's car, a white rag had been stuffed into the tailpipe. Why? Some thought it might stop the car from smoking, others believed she was trying to kill herself with carbon monoxide. But her dad, Fred, didn't believe that. I told her once, years ago, if your car starts smoking, shove a rag in the tailpipe. It's just to get home. That's all. But if Maura had done that, why crash the car minutes later? Fred Murray was heartbroken. He set up search teams, hung posters, gave interviews to the news. He believed someone had taken his daughter. I think she got into the wrong car. Someone hurt her. That's the only thing that makes sense. He didn't trust the local police. He said they weren't doing enough. He believed the area was hiding something, and the longer the search went on, the more questions came up. One witness came forward with a strange story. A neighbor saw a red pickup truck parked facing the wrong way, just past where Maura crashed. It had lights on. The driver sat alone. Then it drove off slowly. The police never found that truck. Was it just someone curious, or was it the last vehicle to see Maura alive? Maura's boyfriend, Billy Roche, flew in from Oklahoma, where he was stationed with the army. He was devastated. He brought Maura's favorite stuffed animal, hoping it would help search dogs track her scent. He said he didn't believe she ran away. He thought she might have gotten lost, scared, or hurt. Maybe she was trying to hide. Maybe she'd been taken, Billy cried in interviews. He searched side by side with Maura's family, but not everyone trusted him. There were rumors of trouble in their relationship. Rumors of jealousy. Of tension, but Billy kept searching. Police found a black backpack in Maura's car, but some people say she had another one, a different color. If so, where was it? Did she take it when she left the car? If Maura planned to vanish, maybe she packed a disappearing bag, with cash, ID, and clothes, and walked into the woods. But again, no tracks. No prints. No sightings, only more questions. By the third day, the search slowed. No one had seen Maura. No new evidence had turned up. The police released a statement. We have no reason to believe foul play occurred. But the Murray family didn't accept that. A 21-year-old girl doesn't just vanish into the snow, Fred said. He asked for FBI help. But local police said the case didn't meet their standards yet, so the case stayed small. Local. Quiet, too quiet. A few days later, something even stranger happened. Another young woman, Brianna Maitland, went missing just 90 miles away in Vermont. Same age. Same college area. Same eerie silence. Her car was found crashed into an abandoned building, but she, too, was never seen again. Were the two cases linked? Police said no. But people started whispering. Maybe there was a serial predator in the woods. The longer Maura was missing, the colder the trail became. Search teams shrank. News coverage faded, but the internet was just getting started. In chat rooms, forums, and blogs, people began digging. Obsessing. Building theories. Was Maura running from something? Did she plan her disappearance, or had someone, right there on Route 112, taken her? One call came in that gave hope. A woman said she'd seen Maura walking quickly near a general store 2 days after the crash, but the sighting was never confirmed. No security footage. No solid leads. It was like chasing shadows. Maura's story was spreading. From a small New Hampshire town to the entire country, people were starting to ask, why did she lie about a family death? Why the alcohol? Why go north alone? And what happened in those 19 minutes? These weren't just rumors anymore. This was a national mystery, and Maura's case was only getting stranger. 1 week after Maura vanished, the cold still held the woods tight. Snow was thick. The sky gray. No answers had come. Just more whispers. More theories. More fear. Maura's family searched every day. Her dad, Fred, drove the same roads again and again, hoping he'd spot something, anything, but Route 112 held its secrets close, and people began asking a terrifying question: was Maura Murray ever supposed to be found? The online storm begins, as the news faded from TV. The internet caught fire. True crime forums, Blogs. Early YouTube clips. Strangers across the country became obsessed with Maura's case. They mapped her last moves. They studied photos of her crashed car. They listened to 911 calls again and again. Some thought Maura had run away. Some believed she had met a stranger. Others were sure she'd planned it all. The story had changed. This wasn't just a local missing person. It was becoming one of the internet's first true crime obsessions. One thread caught fire fast. A girl from UMass said she got an email from Maura. Days after she disappeared, it read, "I'm safe. Don't worry." But when police traced it, the message was fake. Someone was playing games. Was it a cruel hoax? Or someone close to the truth, trying to send a signal? No one ever found out. People kept coming back to the white rag in the tailpipe. Some experts said if a car ran with a rag in the pipe, it could stall, or even explode. So why would Maura do that, and why crash just a few minutes later, unless she didn't put it there herself? Was someone else with her? Someone she trusted. Who betrayed her? Fred Murray thought so. He told anyone who would listen, she didn't run away. She was taken. More strange details surfaced. That night Maura disappeared, she had packed up her dorm room. Took down her art. Stacked her books. Like she was leaving for good. Why? Was she quitting school? Was she scared of something? And then there was the accident report. Days earlier, she had crashed her father's car late at night. No drugs. No alcohol on record, but people said Maura had been upset. Crying. Was something more going on? Did she feel watched? Had someone followed her from campus? Maura's boyfriend, Billy, said he got a strange phone call days after she vanished. It came from a calling card number, not a cell phone. He answered. There was no voice, just breathing, a long pause, then the line went dead. He believed it was Maura, trying to say she was alive. But couldn't talk. Others thought it was a cruel prank. But why use a calling card? Why breathe, but not speak? It felt like a clue, and a cry for help. A local woman named Helena Dwyer made a chilling claim. She said her brother's house, near where Maura disappeared, had strange signs of disturbance. She saw a blue ribbon tied to a tree near the home, just like the ones used in Maura's search. Then she found a stained knife in a kitchen drawer. Could Maura have ended up in that house? The knife was given to police. But nothing came of it, and the house? It was never searched properly. To this day, it's one of the most haunted theories in the case. Some people believe Maura planned her escape. Here's why. She told professors there was a death in the family. There wasn't. She took out almost all her money from the ATM. She emailed her teachers saying she'd be gone for a week. She packed alcohol, clothes, and a textbook on mountain survival. It looked like she was starting over. But if that's true, where did she go? Why crash just hours later? And if she wanted to disappear, why not tell the people who loved her most? One search team used cadaver dogs, trained to smell the scent of death. The dogs stopped near an old foundation site in the woods. They sat down. That usually meant they sensed human remains, but when teams searched the area, they found nothing. No bones. No signs. No burial. Still, the dogs returned to the same spot every time. It was like the earth itself was hiding something, or someone, as weeks turned into months. The forest grew silent again. People stopped searching. The press stopped calling. But for Maura's family, the pain didn't fade. It grew. They walked the trails. They knocked on doors. They asked, "Have you seen this girl?" And sometimes, they'd hear whispers, "She ran away. She died in the snow. She's buried in the woods." But no one knew, and no one could prove anything, in Haverhill. Some people wanted to move on. They were tired of the cameras, the questions, the rumors. To them, Maura was a sad story. But an old one. Fred Murray didn't accept that. He returned again and again. Each time, he brought new maps, new volunteers, new hope. He swore he'd never stop. She's somewhere out there. And I'm gonna find her. But with each year that passed, the forest grew thicker, and the trail grew colder. If this story moved you, even for a moment, if you feel that ache in your chest right now, then please, subscribe to Unbelievable True Story. Because every week, we tell stories just like this one, stories that deserve to be remembered.